And we're live once again. Welcome back, friends, family, and frenemies. We're out of hyperdrive. The reactors are locked in recharge mode, and sublight engines are working to keep us in synchronous orbit around our latest celestial. Welcome back. It's been, to this Thursday evening. It's been a little bit, and there's, here we are. So, let's see here. Sorry about the timer. That, all right. Sorry. Just got a hot take from the Brave News Network, guys. I'm going to open that up real quick so we have that available to us as well. So, it's been a crazy week for me. I hope it's been less crazy for the rest of you. We have, just like I said last time, we're on the road to affiliate. We are effectively, technically speaking, probably a week out. I think if everything goes well, we'll hit it. The stream will hit it. As always, I want to thank everyone who's followed and supported me up to this point. It's been a pleasure and an honor. Just having your support, having your likes and follows across all the social media platforms. Myself and the team, all one of me at Eclipsed Frontiers, thanks you, all of you. So yeah, I guess we'll just go ahead and get right into it. What happened last time? Not really a whole lot. It was Monday. It was kind of one of those, chill days. Except for the Ivy League guy, the Hecate, that managed to get a pretty, actually managed to scan me down. Got my heart pumping there for a little bit. I thought I had it, but luckily our precautions, they willed out. We managed to get away, and they did not pursue beyond one wormhole splash into that C1. I did make it back to Samela in off-camera time, so that's pretty much where we're at this point. We're back home, ready to essentially get started on the next thing. Just so you guys are aware, once things settle out throughout the weekend, I'll be working on a rebrand of the Twitch space. It's something that I've been kind of looking at for the past week. I think you're all gonna like it. I'm hoping to have it done in time for this channel to go affiliate, and for for all of us just to have fun with it. It's gonna be a good thing. I got a whole bunch of assets and things to plug in, and a lot of work to do. We work never ends around here. So, and on top of that, let's see here. I think we made like 10 mil in the wormhole last night. So probably, and I know I'm jumping a little bit. I apologize about that. Also, another thing to apologize about, I did have a timer. I did have a countdown timer. I tested it before going live. It worked. It worked just fine. I made some edits to it, as you could probably see in the text. And after those edits, it worked fine. But then it didn't for some reason. So, be that as it may, whatever. It's, I'm sure it's working in the back end. I'm using a software script on OBS, and that seems to be failing. I may have to look into something else to make it work. Good news is I think there will be less bot spam this time around. That's nice. Chat will have a lot less bot spam. I think I figured that out. So I want you guys to have access to everything, but I also don't want to just completely destroy chat with bots. That's not fun for anybody. So we'll go ahead and get into it. We'll go ahead and we'll start with some of the EVE Online news, and then we'll hop over to the Brave News Network stuff, and then we will get on from there into the game. And what do you guys think? Maybe back into the wormholes for a little bit, see if we can make a little more ISK before kind of jumping forward. Oh, and we also have some market stuff to check too. Let's not forget that. So let's get to it. Let's get into it. I'll go ahead and switch my screen here, and I will switch off of the game because apparently I did not check that before going live. Yeah, okay. Here we are. Okay, so there wasn't too much on the EVE Online side this time. However, I did want to go ahead and just kind of make an annotation. This was an update for their Plex for Good. They've, Ukraine raises $501,000, $652. So that's pretty awesome. We should all give ourselves a pat on the back for that. Anybody that's donated, anybody that's tried to help out that cause, because it's good. It's amazing what we've done. And I've seen this across the board for everything. Games, books, music, I think movies. It just, these kinds of, fundraising things to help support the people that are otherwise affected by real life war. It's never a good thing. And the fact that they've, we've at least this little neck of the digital woods has raised this amount is truly astounding. And I'm sure everybody in Ukraine will be grateful once they can finally receive that aid, at least in part. I'm not wanting to get super political on it, but this right here, just at least notating this, I felt it definitely deserves some praise. So generous capsuleers, together we've achieved something amazing with the Plex for Good Ukraine fundraiser now wrapped. Together, capsuleers, individual EVE developers, and CCP Games have raised a remarkable $501,652 in U.S. cash. That money will now directly help those impacted by the ongoing war in Ukraine, including the millions forced to flee their homes and lives to find safety. The total amount will be converted to real-world money and donated to both UNHCR, the UN Refugee Agency, and the National Bank of Ukraine Humanitarian Assistance Campaign. The UNHCR works in over 130 countries protecting people forced to flee their homes because of war and persecution. Their effort is focused on life-saving support, safeguarding fundamental human rights, and helping them build a better future. And as a result of the current war, UNHCR has increased its focus inside Ukraine and across the neighboring countries that have provided a safe haven for the millions displaced in recent weeks. The National Bank of Ukraine Humanitarian Assistance, meanwhile, is focusing its efforts on helping those that remain in Ukraine, providing food, shelter, medicine, clothing, shoes, and staple goods to citizens and refugees who have been displaced due to the conflict. The National Bank of Ukraine Humanitarian Assistance also delivers one-off financial aid to those in need while endeavoring to support the overall needs of the population. This goes into how the money was raised. You, the amazing capsuleers of New Eden, proved that kindness and humanity are core values of our EVE community. By contracting Plex to the in-game character CCP Plex for Good, an account operated by CCP Games. Our developers, who hail from all over the world, including Ukraine and Russia, also made numerous donations to Plex for Good themselves. Let's see here. With CCP then matching all total donations for the campaign. With the war still having such an awful impact on so many millions, it remains a time for empathy with all impacted and hope for resolutions that lead to lasting peace. Yet the EVE community should rightly feel proud about what you have achieved. It will very directly help other people in great need. At CCP, there is a sense of deep gratitude that the player community has been so generous in coming together. And looking back across all the Plex for Good campaigns together, in total, we have now raised over 1.2 million US dollars. It's a true demonstration that EVE community is about a lot more than simply enjoying video games. So yeah, and this kind of gives you a breakdown of everything that has been raised thus far. Where their where their endeavors and efforts have been placed. And it's, it's pretty good to see. Back in 2005, which was roughly when the game started, the tsunami in Southeast Asia, and what they raised there, the 25,000, and it just kind of kept climbing from there, slowly but surely. So, it's good stuff. If you still want to donate, if you're still looking to donate to help people impacted by the war in Ukraine, we encourage you to make a direct donation to one of the following organizations who are actively providing aid. And they've got a few options here. Just as, in links on this particular article. This article is actually on the front page of our splash screen before we click for our logins. So, feel free to take a look at those links and see if you are still wanting to do any more for the people over there. A final note, the EVE Online community is about fun, adventure, and the excitement that can be found in New Eden, but our collective power also means we can do amazing things, and we should never forget what can be achieved. We have the ability, even responsibility, to make a positive difference to people and the planet we share. And then they have their graphic, which is really cool that they're using some Sisters of Eve ships in that graphic. I like that. I like that a lot. And it all starts with respect, kindness, and supporting fellow humans. If we make that the standard in all we do within the EVE community, we can, as Plex for Good Ukraine shows, achieve amazing things. So yeah, hats off to everybody in EVE for definitely supporting and helping out. So it's good that this has gotten so much. Like I said, I've seen this across the board with a lot of other people, a lot of other organizations doing things. I think Humble Bundle had a bundle. EVE, most of the big MMOs I think actually had something going on like that. It wouldn't surprise me. I didn't look through everything, but I know of at least a few that did. So it's good to see that even though this stuff wrapped up, it's good to see the numbers. It's good to see, at least in small part, who's doing what and where. It should go a long way in helping people hopefully restore their lives. Last stream, there was talk of Fedos, and I didn't know what a Fedo was. I didn't realize it was part of the lore. Well, somebody linked it in one of the Discords that I'm in, and I wanted to share it because I thought that would be cool. Let's learn a little bit about Fedos. Did you know, by the way, that Fedos are 4 million ISK in game? I didn't know that. Hey, Frosty, how's it going? So these little creatures are small invertebrates originating on Palpus 6. The Fedo was discovered by the Amar and has spread within with the Empire and beyond due to its usefulness. Doing all right. Just just chilling here with some EVE news, and then we're going through to play the game. So its historical background, Amar settlers first discovered Fedos deep in the caves of Palpus 6. They soon found use for these tame creatures as an efficient source of garbage disposal. It wasn't long before spacefaring vessels adopted the Fedo as well, despite its pungent odor. With the discovery of Fedo's ability to withstand vacuum conditions for several hours and its ability to eliminate bacteria on board the ship itself, the ship designers soon started replacing garbage disposal features with breeding and housing pens for Fedos. Only the males are used for cleaning, but with the Fedo's short lifespan in captivity, females are also needed to replenish stocks. On Amar vessels, the pens are usually tended to by slaves, and the Fedos are herded to different parts of the ship at different times. The Minotaur also make use of Fedos, though on Minotaur ships, the males are simply allowed to roam freely. Recently, the Fedo has begun to fill other niches in modern society as well, such as the growing popularity of Fedo fighting, or its use in various genres of movie entertainment. It shows here their original habitat was deep underground in the caverns of Palpus 6. On their own, the species never would have moved beyond those caverns. Their characteristics. They're typically between 30 to 50 centimeters long and 20 to 40 centimeters high, although some larger specimens have been reported in the wild. It is an omnivorous, non-anthropod invertebrate, most resembling a sponge. It has reddish skin punctuated by tiny calciferous ridges on its back. Small claw-like tentacles distributed around its body are used mainly for movement, though these can also serve as a limited form of defense. The female of the species has more of these tentacles and is larger and richer in color than the male. The females also possess a tail approximately 10 centimeters long, with a small opening at the end of this tail can emit highly toxic fumes. There's a lot of typos in this article. Come on, CCP. Phetos have no eyes or ears, but are able to communicate by smell and vibration. The mouth of the pheto is a small opening on its underbelly that is lined with tiny rows of serrated cartilage, and it feeds by lowering its body over the morsels to be eaten. The digestive system of the pheto is highly inefficient, and the food will often rot well before it is digested, contributing to the creature's foul smell. While in its natural habitat, phetos can live up to several decades. In captivity, their lifespan is typically only a few weeks. Wow. Hey, Underworld, how's it going? You have a pheto? Reproductive traits. Phetos have no set mating season and do not share the raising of the young. Typically, a male pheto will only mate with a single female in its lifetime, though the female will have many partners. Impregnated females will birth between 1 and 3 in a brood, but does so within 2 days of being fertilized. A female pheto can give birth twice a week. All phetos are born with tails and do not exhibit qualities of either sex. They usually reach reproduction age within the first 24 hours, and this is when they develop gender characteristics. The first tail falls off, with only the females regrowing them. Okay. So that's interesting. Phetos only live for a few weeks. You would think with an advanced civilization such as the ones we see in New Eden, they would have figured out how to fix that. But sounds like my wife. Oh. Well, you know, I mean, I guess that happens. Okay. All right. So back on to the last thing on the roster, and that's going to be the Brave News Network print edition. This one is proudly sponsored by Biscuit Industries. Make sure you get your biscuits in the right place. Get them from Biscuit Industries. No, once again, we thank the Brave News Network print edition, all of them, for allowing us to share their articles here. I truly appreciate it. Let's get right into it. This one's for March 26, 2022. And let's see here. Yep. And JTAC PT. Give me a second. JTAC TPTA Fortizar Cap Brawl. Yesterday, March 30th, a large capital brawl occurred in JTAC TPTA Faithabolus. The battle begun as a fight over a Fortizar armor timer, seeing Imperium forces facing off against a Horde and test fleet for control of the system. Consisting of 46 dreads on the Pappy side and 75 for Imperium, supported by Fax, Carrier, and Subcap fleets. The battle begun with an armor bash of the JTAC TPTA Fortizar. As the timer ticked down, it was eventually paused with just 53 seconds left, where the Citadel was saved. The final tally for the fight was 318 billion ISK lost from Pappy and 626 billion ISK lost for the Imperium. Whew. And we will most certainly be looking at... Oh, no. Oh, I forgot it does that. New tab. There we go. We'll be looking at that. By the way, this is coming to you guys like super fresh because I have not gotten a chance to read this whole thing yet. So here's the battle report, and yes, I know it's got this weird bright pink on it, and that's what the Edge browser is doing. I'm going to see if I can eliminate some of that. There we go. So I'm sorry if it burns everybody's eyes. It burns my eyes too. Actually, you know what? I'll do this. We'll just do that. Make everybody's eyes feel better. Oh. Okay. It's their site. That's great. I actually thought that was not their site. Oh yeah, I do have an ad block on. There we go. Let's see if we can reload one more time. Oh, no. Okay. Well, I tried. It's so pretty, though. Oh, man. Okay, there we go. Look at that. Now it's covered with ads. That's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So, yeah. Looks like the home team here, Horde and Friends, they lost 886 ships, and Imperium lost 953. So overall, the efficiency was in favor of the Horde. Like, they just smashed. It looks like they still lost the fort, or lost the fort timer, because it was an armor timer. But no, that would have been the fort itself also lost. So even though they lost the fort, they still won the ISK war. Gosh, props to the Horde guys. Man, they really just kind of smacked each other around, didn't they? It's been a while since I've seen a cap brawl like that. I won't get too far into it. 242 capsules. Hacks, they lost 155. They lost 109. So, there's lots of goodies there. All right. Let's go into this one. This actually talks about the article that we were talking about earlier. Plex for Good raises 501,652 for Ukraine. See here, it's active war defense combined capsuleers donated a total of 235,000, which was matched 1-to-1 by CCP, with an additional 41,000 in donations coming from other miscellaneous sources. Plex for Good Ukraine has been the largest such fundraiser. There's a hair. Hard to talk with that. Blah. Largest such fundraiser by far, being more than double the previous record raised in the aftermath of Typhoon Haiyan, and now represents 41% of the 122 million USD raised through similar fundraisers since 2005. This incredible outpouring of support from the EVE community shows that behind the stereotype of unforgiving players in a spaceship game, there are caring, genuine people. Heart. There we go. Now you can see it. Heart. The funds raised from Plex for Good will be split between the UN Refugee Agency and the National Bank of Ukraine Humanitarian Assistance Campaign. Both recipients will use the donations to provide food, water, clothing, medicine, and shelter to Ukrainians, both at home and those who have become refugees. So that's good. Hey, Yelga, how's it going? So yeah, like we, good for good for everybody that's that donated. Good for the Eve community. Good for all of us, because that is, like I said before, that's some incredible incredible achievements right there. We should not at all be we should not at all be upset about that. That is amazing. Solo roaming in my Legion, only a few MTU kills so far though. Oh, you're actually in K space? You undocked? You survived? I don't think I found that hair. Filamenting around. Oh, okay. Hopping around their nullsec then. That's good. I can still feel that hair. Maybe it's just me. New login reward system. I'm gonna open this in a new tab. We'll be landing on Tranquility within the next few weeks, replacing the widely hated system currently in place. The new system will give players permanent skins, which are redeemed directly and not as items. New Halcyon boosters and filaments. Alongside these changes, login rewards SP will now be given out in smaller doses, so while Omega characters will still receive 150,000 free SP a month for logging in, it will be redeemed in chunks of 5,000 SP per day. I like that change. For the foreseeable future, skins, which will be given out as long as login rewards, are the Halcyon Dawn series. Which are a yellow version of the biosecurity skins and Carmine Horizon skins, consisting of a red-black gradient overlaid with white stripes. And for those of you who would like to support the Brave News Network print edition, DM Yelgab Exila, our very own reverse Alex Bagley, on Slack to advertise in BNN print. Brave News Network's print edition is written and edited by Yelgab Exila. And for videos and more, visit the BNN's YouTube channel run by Isaac Cregan. And of course, the ever so very beautiful Biscuits Industrial ads at the very bottom. Halcyon? Is it Halcyon? Okay. I've never been able to... I never heard how it's pronounced. And if I have, I never knew that was the word. Halcyon. Halcyon. Okay. That's fair. I'm sorry. I failed again. Let's see here. RCI high-sec hauling. Poke Thirstier Bloodblade if info is needed. So, that is it. Let's go into the revamped daily rewards. CCP Fozzie has posted this, and this was a day ago. Unsurprising. Belarus versus War of Mine raised money too. Just get 800,000. Okay. Oh yeah, that's right. That was one of the ones I heard about as well. I just didn't know how much they did. Frosty. The developers for this War of Mine raised money. They got around $800,000. The game teaches you that people don't just get shot in war, they lose their homes and starve too. It's good that the money will go towards keeping people fed. Yep, there's a lot of factors in war that you don't think about. I'm not military myself, so I can't speak for everything, but food, shelter, clothing, those are kind of the least of the worries, right? You've got entire families getting ripped apart. You've got medical, there's diseases running rampant because there isn't clean water and hygiene, or easy access to hygiene and clean water anymore. You got to think about even pets that are left behind. I was seeing articles on that. So that's kind of a pretty big thing. We're lucky that out here in the depths of the Milky Way, out in space, this little exploration vessel here doesn't usually run across any kind of big wars or pirate skirmishes. So I'm pretty fortunate there. On Earth, it's a completely different story. So, but no, it's good that they raised a lot of money, and they, like I said, it's all over. It's everywhere. Everywhere is raising that kind of thing. So, and I'm super glad that it's happening. There's just been this, we're using our digital age for good, and that's what we need to be doing. So let's see here. Fozzie mentions that they're able to announce big improvements to the daily gift system, rewards, time-limited skins with new permanent ones, creating a new set of boosters designed from the ground up to work as daily gifts, moving the skill points into the daily rewards category, and completely removing the blueprint copies from the old system. That's good. Skins, we already found out about that. The daily gift system will keep track of which skins the characters on your account already have and will avoid giving you duplicates until you have all the skins available, which shouldn't happen for a very long time, if at all, since there are so many new skins, and we have the ability to add more over time. Like most login reward skins, these permanent skins will auto-apply to your character when redeemed from the redeeming queue. Hooray! The new Halcyon Dawn and Carmine Horizon patterns can be viewed on CC right now. But for anyone curious, there's also some screenshots at the end of this post. Let's see here. Boosters. The boosters included in the old daily rewards can be very useful, but they suffer a bit from being copies of pre-existing boosters instead of having been designed for daily gifts from the start. They have skill requirements, they often have drawbacks, they are only useful for a narrow set of gameplay styles and ship fits, and they have fairly short durations for which isn't a great fit for being applied from the redeeming queue. We have endeavored to solve all these problems with the new Halcyon boosters designed for the new version of the daily rewards. These boosters provide small bonuses to a large variety of attributes, meaning that they will be useful in a wide variety of gameplay styles and on a wide variety of ships. They also avoid any skill requirements and drawbacks, and they have a base duration of 2 hours, increased further by the biology skill, so that you can redeem them at your convenience and benefit from their bonuses all through a play session. Nice! There are 4 lines of Halcyon boosters, providing bonuses to different attributes. Let's see, and each line has 5 different strength tiers. Alpha players will be able to receive tiers 1 through 4 in their daily gifts, and Omegas will receive tiers 2 through 5. Okay. The new daily reward boosters will all auto-inject when redeemed, and they will only last 7 days in the redeeming queue, so their power and versatility will be balanced by the inability to hoard them. Okay. They'll place the stats in the second post. Skill points, we already talked about that. Total amount over time, it's the same as the old system, but you'll get smaller chunks. To transition from the old to the new, we'll be running a script that gives out the SP from the partially filled SP bars of all accounts that have logged in at least once in the last year, rounding up a bit here and there. Filaments for people looking to get their Abyss fix. Low-tier filaments will continue to be available in the new system. The filament days will come about half as often as the old system, however, to make room for the new boosters and skins. Yeah, I think I redeem them. I used to redeem them in the beginning, Underworld. There wasn't really a need for them for me, just because I wasn't doing combat at the time. But, I mean, it is what it is. Like, sometimes they work out for you, sometimes they don't. Sometimes you can find a good reason to have them. I think I had, there was, one use case for popping those boosters. And it was a potential combat system or situation, and then I never got into combat, so they were kind of useless to me. I popped them for no reason, but I had them, so I said, why not? But there are a lot of drawbacks with them, like because they're regular boosters, so it probably tanked that specific like people that did boosters. So it's good to see that they're at least doing something with that. To go with the new rewards, we also have given a major facelift to the daily rewards UI. You can check out how the new system looks on CC now, or take a look at the screenshot above. We're continuing to tweak a few elements related to these icons, but the version on CC today is very close to what will release on TQ next week. That brings up a good point. Actually, when there's something interesting going on CC, I need to have the ability to show you guys. I'm going to work on that so we can check out some of the stuff on CC. I mean, aside from having like the Hobo Leaks information, which is always good to have, it'd be nice to actually see it in game, right? And that's what CC is all about. Like actually getting to play things before you actually get to play things. So, one major change with the new UI is that you will now be able to see what types of rewards you have coming up to the next 4 days. Okay. With different icons and labels for each reward grouping instead of the crate icons used by the old system. The new UI will, of course, be available both in the classic UI and the Photon UI styles, depending upon which you have active for your game client. We hope you enjoy the new system and pass it along. Okay, that's cool. And here's some skins. They do look pretty good. I like that Punisher, that Tristan. That looks okay. And there's the booster stats. I'm not really gonna get into scan resolution, huh? Okay. So they got boosters for doing a little bit of everything. And it will include things like for exploration, scan resolution, scan probe deviation, and scan speed. So that goes to R1, 4, 5. Okay. And then the Bs give you things like scan resolution, sensor strength, virus coherence for data analyzers. Okay, so they're actually somewhat more useful depending upon what you do. Astro, they checked out the new UI. So small. Yeah, I think I actually remember seeing that in one of his Twitters, or one of his tweets. I thought that was kind of unfortunate. So I hope they're able to kind of slim it down and do some stuff, do some better things with it, if you will. Relic. So this one, so did the other one do data? Yeah, data analyzers. Okay, so we got one for data, we got one for relic. Okay. No, that makes sense. Okay. Well, I do hope that that actually does work out. Photon UI aside, because obviously they still have a lot of work to do. Let's see here. Just have to check one other thing. Oh, I forgot about that. It is April Fool's Day. And that's probably what, or well, it's coming up on April Fool's Day. And that would be why it's got that wonderful pink border on Z-Kill. I bet. Okay. Okay, you got me, Z-Kill. You got me. Did you ever download the e-deals? Ah, I thought I did. I did not. I thought I grabbed it. I changed a lot of stuff on my phone too throughout the past couple of days and things got crazy. Let me grab it real quick. Thank you for reminding me. Eve Market deals. It says it's installed, so. Okay, apparently I already had it. I just needed to update it. Okay. Yeah, I've got it now. So. Let me get back. There we go. Pull that back over there. All right. So forgetting about Eve Market deals aside, which I guess I actually had it installed. I got this phone. Yeah, it was on my list. Come to think of it. I got this phone. It's coming up on a full month. Yeah, I actually just got back into Station, so I haven't had a chance to really change or mess around with other things. And I'm actually going to get to that. But yeah, I changed out this phone just the other day, or just like a few weeks ago, and Eve Market Deals was in my list of programs or apps. So it got transferred. I just apparently never reactivated because I hadn't really touched Eve a whole lot at the time. So before we left last time, there were a couple things that happened. Obviously, April 1st was right around the corner. It's now here. So that means that our skill training should have paused. However, as luck would have it, it has not. I went ahead and just got more Omega time, so it won't just like die tomorrow or anything. But we would have ended somewhere with a few days left on Light Drone Operation 5. Since we have the time available at this point, I am probably going... Where is it? Spaceship Command. Go ahead and put this in there. I'll actually drop it right there. Because that way we can actually get a hold of some proper scanning equipment. Scanning, stealth, things like that. We can actually do something like that right now if we actually had the funds for it. Which we, of course, do not, but that's besides the point. So if we look, right now we can actually fly an Astero. We actually have the skills for it. They are not as high as they should be, but they are there. And I'll actually look for Galente Frigate and drop that. I'll actually drop that in front. Give it a chance to... because I would much rather have that at level 3. Aside from the skills, though, you know, like I said, this is still about new player accessible, new player-ish accessible. So a lot of the stuff that I'm going to be doing will still revolve around that, at least for a good period of time. We put in some stuff on Market in Amar a little while back, and we did actually make some ISK. We're much higher now. As you can see, Monarch still has the 0-point condensates. We still have the artificial neural network, the current pump, the defective current pump, and the interface circuits. But a lot of stuff is sold. We never did get those electrical filaments. And we actually sold quite a bit. So let's see, the Isogen sold, and so did that Afterburner, and then everything else that we put up sold out completely. So we actually got a good bit. Something else I want to point out is that as far as the wallet goes, your overview is very powerful in showing you where everything's at. I'm not sure why it says, oh yeah, I know why it says trade. Technically those are trades. You know, it shows your income, it shows your expenses, your trade and miscellaneous. So good stuff. 74 mil in MTU kills with 10 goons in local. Is this legally? I don't know. But speaking of PvP, that's just something we need to look into. So for now, it's really just going to be about let's build up this wealth a little bit more. Let's get us into a situation where we can safely say, hey, I've got a little bit of ISK and I want to go burn it. Because ships are still expensive, even if you are Omega. I would still like us to get at least a few more sites under our belt. Because I do honestly think that that's probably going to be a good option. This is a good place to start. And then we will focus on other things. Why does it say it's 28 jumps when it literally just said it was like 7 jumps? Because it's 7 jumps if I go through all that low sec. Okay, well, I probably didn't check my settings. Yay, class is over. Let's just do within 5 jumps. Okay, there we go. That'll work for now. We'll focus on that. Avoid Lusik. Yeah, I thought it was earlier for us, but for some reason it's not now. I didn't have this problem on Monday. I don't remember having it on Monday at least. Which is why it's strange to me. So oh, I guess it would help to do a bit of a server pulse. So here we are. It's you know, we're about 50 minutes into the stream. It's there are 16.3k users logged in, capsuleers that are around. This is where we want to be. Oh, okay, fair. So it's actually a quieter night than I think it has been in previous nights. Who wants to get their eyes burned out? We'll jump to the sun. No, I'm kidding. We're not going to do that. Yeah, maybe 1,000. Yep. And that's true. I think we just got kind of unlucky last time with our Ivy League friend in that wormhole. It was just kind of popped out of nowhere. So, but he was probably just out checking the chain and happened to see us on the D scan. So. That's all right. All right. So let's be smart and move. Yeah, I noticed though for sure that it doesn't seem like it gets busy in EVE Online when you're not in like your own corporate alliance. Seems like the only time it actually gets busy is when it hits past 20,000, 18,000 players. And that seems to be it. Lived in your ship's triple hyperspeed. I wonder how many people would fly into the sun just because. You know, that's a good question. The hope is not very often. I'm all for multi-boxing, but yeah, that's fair. I actually, I know a guy in real life. He gave up EVE Online well, not recently, but some time ago. And he multi-boxed. He had 6 accounts. He multi-boxed one. I mean, he was a miner, so he did back before the Rourke changes and the moon, all the asteroid changes, the scarcity thing. He'd have like 1 Rourke and 5. I think it was coveters he used, and he'd just take them along like really slow. Oh, please don't die on me. I think it's dying on me again. Yep, it died on me. Such a bummer. I thought I had that fixed. Yeah, you're gone. But yeah, he that's what happened. So I was pretty sad to see him go, but like the way he wanted to play his game, just sit there and just strip mine entire moon fractures. Just, his game was kind of ruined in that regard. So one would hope that ships would be made to be smarter than their pilots. Yeah. What was it? It was in Star Wars. Han Solo mentioned before they could go into warp for the first time when they were leaving Tatooine that the computer had to essentially make thousands of calculations before it could actually enter in hyperjump. You can't just push a button and go. It was like at the time it was like some snide remark, but that I don't remember super well. But I do remember the remark that he made. So all right, so we've got 2 wormholes tonight. It's quiet enough too. Oh, I know what I'm forgetting. Get this set up. Okay, we're good. And Pathfinder. Oh, I didn't grab the right thing. There we go. Okay. Guy's back. I'd feel better if I knew where he came from. Oh, that's right. I've got my chat window. There's a guy in local, and it's the second time I've seen him kind of lingering around, so just saying I'd feel a little bit better if I knew. And then parts of space. Okay, so this is probably C2 or C3. To work out, don't want to charge to play at that speed. It might not be too good for the planet. That's true. You might punch a hole through the planet and cause like a vacuum incident. I mean, you wouldn't have to worry about like the planet getting sucked through like a small pinhole or a version thereof, but yeah. Systems. Okay, so that's ready. This is an X702. Okay. So I guess either one would actually work for us. Ah, Drekavec. That's gotta be what he's in. I wonder if he's fighting the anomaly. About 5 AU away. No? Well. Let's see if we can do a little bit of... Okay. Holding Corp. He's nearby. Let's see if he's... He disappeared off D-scan. Well, I at the very least know that he's not over here. Let's go to FFY and begin our ventures there. Oops, not what I wanted to do. All right, here we go. Okay, it is C3 with a null sec static. And there are quite a few signatures. All right. Just like before, we're gonna pop in. We're gonna set up our safe. Let's start. Let's actually go over here. Do that one. I'll probably go ahead and make a safe between these two systems. That should give us enough distance. Plus it also, if we hit it right, we can actually kind of keep an eye on everything. It's a pretty large system and there's not a lot of anything going on. So I like it. It's a big system though. I feel like I'm in warp for forever. So like, I mean, that kind of sucks, but some wormholes are just huge. So I'm not going to complain too much. Do 20. I almost feel like my clicker is broken today. Like 5 clicks just to finally click the right thing. All right. Okay. I don't know where the rest of you are, by the way, but it got really cold over here where I'm at, and it's yeah, I could feel it. Like I just feel like I'm all locked up, you know. All right, let's not stay still. Let's be smart. All right, I should be okay now. Well, we're pretty lucky in the fact that at least all of these particular signatures are clustered together. Okay, so we got a couple of good hits here. couple data sites. Yeah, that's true. That should have actually made a. That should have actually hit. That's strange that that didn't. I know there were still, like, when I woke up this morning, there were still some big flakes coming down from the window. Sparking. We had a data module, we'd be able to use that. But since we do not, we will pass it by. Okay, so we got a connection here. My phone went crazy. Okay. All right, well, we got that one scanned down. These three are data sites. Can almost guarantee that this is probably the point that we need to actually scan. Anytime you, like I've been saying, anytime you see something where your signature point is closer, like in this case, you can actually readily tell it's closer to the planet or to a celestial, go ahead and just pick that one. That one is going to be your better option by far. Even if it doesn't scan it out completely, it'll get you close, just like that. And as a bonus, it, of course, helped to further scan the data site. Not that we were particularly looking for the data site, but no. It's not a whole lot. Underworld, I'm just still scanning. I've got one wormhole. We've got 3 data sites that we know of. Can't use them, so the data sites are going to sit there. The wormholes are interesting. About the only thing that I described was that when you have one of the line points, and you have one of them that you can visibly see that's close to a celestial, you want to make sure you try to scan that one down. It won't 100% it, but it will get you significantly closer. So, at the very least. So, just some, useful tips is really all. And that's probably the best use for the line, or for the straight dotted line. I would think that the circle actually works in the same way, the dotted circle, but because like in this particular case over here, this side's closest to the celestial, so there's no point in scanning the whole thing. Yeah, just like that. I'd probably get farther if I just kind of dropped it up here somewhere and then slimmed it down to 1 AU, because I'm betting it's probably somewhere along that general area. Yeah, I'll probably just do like a 2 AU right there. See what happens. Might as well test that theory now. Sure enough. Of course, it was I guess I was scanning out one of those data sites. All right. I'm actually going to go ahead and tell it to ignore these. That'll help me to stop getting confused. And as also as an aside, since we're talking about scanning, you know, if you hold down Control, you can pick any one of these points that pop up, and you can select it, and you can move as long as you're holding down Control and you click and hold one of these points, it moves them all bigger, kind of moves your bubble out, in and out. You can also use the scroll wheel, which can help to narrow it down a little bit. As you can see, you can make it like a really well-defined circle, or you can really just kind of fan that out and make it like really, really precise. Shift will give you the chance to move around individual probes. Alt gives you the chance, I'm actually not sure. Oh yeah, it gives you the chance to kind of expand it out. 8, 8, 2, 4, 6, 8, 32. So it actually gives you the chance to expand the AU range. So just some simple hotkeys for those of you wanting to do Explo. Hotkeys that I clearly don't use because I've just always done the click and click method. Oh, we'll click now. We'll click this. We'll do that. We'll click this here. I need to start using my hotkeys more. That's the bad thing about me in a lot of games, especially like Eve. I don't use hotkeys. Like oh, sorry. I just smacked my mic. My wrists are popping. And part of it was because I had to get up really early this morning, like, so everything's just locking up on me because of that, and of course the snow and the cold. Let's see if this is going to be a relic site that we can actually do, or if this is something that if we had a proper... Oh yeah? And this is a forgotten recursive depot. That's unfortunate. Yeah, I need to start using my hotkeys more. I really do. I'm just... I don't know. I don't want to say that I'm lazy. I'm just really forgetful of those hotkeys. There. I'll start doing better. I'll be better. I promise. I'll be better. Oh gosh, yes, I remember that too. So you essentially, I think you could still like click and drag to make like a box in Eve, like the mass select. You used to be able to do that even back then, but it was still like a real big pain in the butt to have to just move every individual probe. It was, I mean, the system hasn't really changed a whole lot since then, but it has changed, so. It's starting to get colder. 15 Celsius. Snow's awesome. Yeah. It got into the like the lower 30s for us, Frosty. It wasn't like super bad cold, but it was just cold enough. We had just gotten like the yes, Misa, I am. Um, it's it was like in the 70s, almost 80 degrees, like the day before, or something like that. Um, let's see here. Yeah, the day before yesterday, it was like 70s, 80s, and then yesterday it was in the 50s because we had like this massive front move through, and it gave us a lot of thunder and lightning. It was actually pretty severe. So we kind of got lucky. I don't think any tornadoes dropped on that storm. So go team on that one. But it was still like, and then it was in the 50s, I think, yesterday, and then it just dropped all the way down to like the low 30s, possibly even upper 20s overnight. I don't know. Yeah, yeah. Misa's right. She kept a closer track of it than I did, so. In the right ballpark. Not that I would really know. I mean, this is so far out. Wow. It's a level 3. That's why it's so hard to scan down. This wouldn't matter if I had some sister's implants, but since I got to... Actually, this might be a good time to reevaluate. Yeah, the lightning was really intense. Wow, that actually made it worse. All right, we'll do that. Also, another thing too, we've got these buttons. Do a default spread or pinpoint. You can center the current formation on the ship, which is really nice. There we go. That's better. So yeah, how's the weather for the rest of you? Leave a comment in the chat below. No, kidding. You don't have to, but like it was pretty crazy. I am glad we're in spring, but I'm very much not glad that we're still getting cold. But I mean, the cold came with the snow, so it's not as bad as it could be. There. I'm using hotkeys. Look at me go. Learning things. Wow, that did not want to go. Okay, it's another monument site. So let's see. Let's go ahead and ignore the forgotten site here. Let's get these last 3. And there's 2 over there, excuse me. And for the record, as far as my Springfield 2, surprisingly cold. Yeah, I don't know where Springfield 2 is at. I don't know what state that is. But if it's north. Hey, it worked. That's a miracle. Yeah. if I had to guess, I think you're east of where we're at, Underworld, and that's likely why you're getting all that cold, because we just got, well, I think we're still getting some of that cold right now, but we're on the tail end of it if I had to guess. Oh. Okay, I got you. Illinois. Yeah. For some reason I had to get up at like 9 o'clock this morning. I blame Misa. It was her idea. So like, everything is just, I'm taking so much at face value right now. Just want this to scan. Okay, data site. Class 3 magnetar. I guess I should have pointed that out too. We are in a C3 magnetar, which has some interesting effects. It'll give us bonus to turret, missile, and drone damage, penalties to turret and drone tracking speed, missile explosion radius, target painter effectiveness, and maximum targeting range. Yeah, that's true. It's the pest people's fault. But you're the one that relentlessly poked and prodded at me until I woke up. So I'm totally blaming you. Just put it back to normal formation. The guilty is charged. Yes, that's right. Paranoid. Get Friday. I don't blame you on that, Frosty. We have a cat who's very much that he does not like thunder at all. He goes and hides under the bed, under furniture, whatever he can find, and he just slinks away. I used to turn off my computer a lot. I have it on a strip right now that's supposed to protect against like electric shock and electrical damage like that. It's not the greatest, and I really wish I could put it on a UPS, but you know, you do what you can, for sure. It's not like I really trust the wiring in this place, but it seems stable enough. So I guess I'll risk it for a little bit longer. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, this one was a data site as well. And then finally VNQ. Try to just be aligned. Got this funny feeling it's way too quiet. I don't think we have one of those. Yeah. Mine's just a standard surge protector. What I was talking about is it's called an uninterruptible power supply. Short term is UPS. It's literally just like a big old block of battery. And it has standard AC plugs, so you can plug things into it. Usually it can keep your computer operating for at least a few minutes. If you get the right capacity, it can keep it going for a few minutes, so you can save and shut down your work, and that's really all it's there for. but it's also got other things like over voltage protection, static shock protection, things like that. So, you know, it's extremely useful. Wow, that didn't do anything. Well, it's close to that, so let's see if I could just get it to pop up. Let's do that. I would think that generally business computers are actually going to be using a lot of UPSs. There we go. That's much better. It's only 8.2% though. Huh. Surprised at how hard this is to scan down. Let's see, just keep electronics. Oh. I don't know. The ones that we had at Walmart here, I think were like I wanted to say they were over $100 and they only had like 450 milliwatt hours. Milliamp hours, sorry, milliamp. I knew I was getting that term wrong. I mean, it depends. Like, I'm talking about like a really small UPS. I think on the box it was rated for like 20 minutes or something like that. Oh, yes. All right, we may have hit potential pay dirt. Now, if we can scan this thing down, this is probably going to be our golden ticket. So we have to scan it, get it, and get out with it. So here we go. All right, our only real issue is that if I had to guess, I wouldn't be surprised if I lost my ship here. If I was a hunter, this is where I would be stalking people at. Let's see what we can find. Now, I'll have to look at them in more detail. I only know of like the one that's over at Walmart. I keep meaning to look into them. Oh. I think that's like server and enterprise grade at that point. I mean, they make like big ones, but they don't necessarily like cost anything because you can usually do it yourself. Oof. I'm probably gonna blow this one. Oof. Wow, this one's... Maybe. Ooh. Wow, that was a lot of work for not a lot of payout. Yeah. Yeah, Underworld's right on that one. Well, in the IT school, I think they teach you more about the server side stuff anyways, or in the IT classes, because they're teaching you the business side. Wow. Okay. All right, that's not a bad payout right there. 3 mil. Probably helps to point out, I don't think you're in the US, are you, Frosty? So costs for things might be a little different. Okay, there we go. That's good. Yeah. So costs are somewhat similar, but some things might be quite a bit more expensive too. No, don't leave. Wow. I'm just flying through these. Okay, what's the catch? There's always a catch. Gosh. Okay, that's good. There we go. Okay, that's not too bad. Come on. Wow. Huh. Oh, we're gonna... Okay. I guarantee you that's probably where it's at. Wow. Huh. Well, I just got smoked by them. Oh, this is gonna hurt. may have to blow this one. Yeah, it's gone. Well, that's a bummer. We'll watch our ISK blow up. That's fine. That one was a red explosion. The last one that blew up on us was blue, wasn't it? Fairly certain it was. Well. Gosh. Second half of these nodes are just really eating into me today. Okay. All right. That's not too bad. A little under 2 mil. All right, so that takes care of that one. Go ahead and go into that. Go to there since we are here. Our total payout, assuming we can make it out with this, is about... It says it's about 12 mil. That's not too bad. Not exactly as much as I thought it was going to be in a crystal quarry, but because crystal quarries tend to be your better, your potential for better, and it might have been all in that one can that got destroyed as well. So that's a possibility. Okay. We did get ourselves a nice little achievement, so that was nice. It's not very high. It's like at a 3. Yeah, my hacking, which this one was archaeology anyways, and it's also still at a 3, so. But it is on the list, I think. Actually, no, it was not. So, my bad on that one. Because they weren't lit up in blue. Oh. My own personal skill at the hacking minigame is, I've got quite a bit of experience doing it. But yeah, this particular character's skill is pretty low, so. Okay, that was very good. That's exactly the kind of payout that I was hoping for us to find. Take care of one of these. There we go. Hacking in Arc 3. Yeah. I mean, honestly, as far as like for most new players or new characters at least, you're gonna find hacking in archaeology 3s and 4s. If you're on an alpha account, I think 3 is as high as you can go. which is kind of why I linger. I'm going to probably be lingering on that anyways. Because that's where I want to be, to show everybody kind of how to make that dank ISK. Where is it? Well, there we go. That took a lot to find. Yeah, I do. Sometimes I click all over the place, sometimes I don't. I try to open up as much of the field as I can. So like if I get stopped, like right there, I'd rather go somewhere else to see if perhaps maybe there's a better path. And then the ones, I'll tend to flirt around them a little bit to see if I can find something worthwhile. And then when I get stuck and I can't really go anywhere else, that's when I go back and fight whatever I need to. That method has always kind of worked out for me, but it might not be the most efficient. Yeah, I'm almost positive it's probably right there. Yep, called it. And I won't find any other nodes. Oh well. Uh-oh. Did I lose connection? No, it says I'm still live. No, it shows that I'm still okay. Okay. I was concerned there because Underworld said rip stream, so I wasn't sure if... Oh yeah, I am lagging a little bit here. Not really sure why, but... I'm lagging, and everything looks good on my end, so... There we go. Should find it here somewhere. There it is. Okay, so at least I got away from that one. I probably shouldn't have hit that. Now I'm gonna have to wait a second to stop bouncing. It was worth more when I looked it up and was unsure. Paid more than it says. 34% more. So it cost you 34% more Australian dollars to buy something than it would if you had US dollars? Is that how I'm understanding that, Frosty? Gosh. Okay. Wow, this thing really just blocked me off. Okay, so it pokes that twice at least. This thing costing 30, cost me around 40. Oh yeah, okay. Oh, that's really poopy. Can't believe it blocked me like that. And now I don't have a way around that. Alright, well, that's unfortunate. Let's keep going. Let's go to 70. We have 2,200 in the cargo holds. That's a little bit more like what you can expect if you're doing exploration sustainably. And that's not necessarily a great day, but that's definitely an average day. This is an N968, goes to unknown larger ships. Go to UIW and see what that looks like. It's a K346. Leads into null. So here's our null static for this particular thing. 140. I don't know that that's necessarily a 34% markup. That sounds more like a... Well, no. 30, I mean, I guess that is pretty close to 34. This is a T405. I want to say this is Triglavian. Danger's unknown. Okay. Let's go to UGA. UGA is going to be our option. But since we do have a little bit more time, I do want to try to get for one or two more systems. All right, and we are looking at another relatively quiet system. This is another C3 with a low sec static. I'll just go ahead and set that as a C3 bookmark. Do that. That should take care of that. Oh no. I'm sorry. I was checking my stuff too, Underworld, because you were saying rip stream, and I was like, oh no, did I die? I went into Twitch Inspector and checked that too. We found about 22 mil in loot, so as long as we can get back home with it, decided to go ahead and also hop into another wormhole. It turned out to be a C3 with a low sec static. We're going to go ahead and give this a try because we do have a little bit more time available to us. Ignore that result. So, Fermi paradox. It sounds familiar. Tell me about it. I'm probably opening a can of worms here, but tell me about it. right there. That's good. And life exists in advance. Now, I did hear about one thought that, you know, if aliens did visit us, it probably wasn't going to be one of those we come in peace type of deals. It probably was going to be more along the lines of, we're going to take you over. Oh, okay. All right. I'll give you a sec. I'll just keep, I'll keep scanning. So I'm super interested in this one. Need to get that aliens meme, you know? I'm not saying it was aliens, but it was aliens. So, kind of fit, sort of. Yeah. Well, and as Misa can tell you too, when it comes to space and you know, astronomy and things like that, I'm actually very interested in that kind of stuff. So it's not too. Oh yeah, I can see most of this. Okay. I kind of wish that Twitch stream chat had like a thing like Discord does, where like when somebody's typing, it shows you that they're typing, so you can just kind of watch in anticipation or fear if you're worried about what they're going to say next. This one doesn't have any kind of a visible. I'll just try right there and see what happens. With so many trillions of stars, each billions of galaxies. What if, why haven't we had communication, and what if they were hostile? On the other hand, if life is so rare and conditions so unique, then we are truly alone, both sides. Yeah, and that's very true. I mean, it's essentially like what I was saying, like there were some documentaries and things that I was watching about such a thing, and it's like there are some physicists and scientists that believe, you know, if there is intelligent life out there. Why is it only playing the one? Okay. Well, anyways, if there is intelligent life out there, then the likelihood of it coming to create some kind of galactic federation or some kind of like our version of United Nations and inducting us into it because we're an intelligent species, in their eyes, probably isn't very likely. I mean, if you look at how, like, we really only have our own planet and the creatures on our planet, not just humans, to go off of as to how an alien might interact or act with us. A data site and a gas site. We're going to go ahead and ignore those results. And that's pretty scary. And then, of course, the flip side, you know, if the conditions have to be just right, you know, yeah. I mean, I think there was even one saying that because the distance of, because, you know, stars, the distance between stars is so vast, let's assume, if you assume for a second that maybe warp drive, you know, warp speed isn't possible to obtain, or at least for that species, they might have developed some kind of like an AI autonomous robotic system that could go off in search of the stars. And that could live long enough to breach from one star to another. But that still doesn't sit very favorably on our end if they ever encounter us either. Because, like, we are a finite resource, right? That's kind of one of those things. As a living specimen. Type 0. ETs wouldn't want. Yes, exactly. We're more like an ant farm. We're just kind of, we're intelligent enough to know how to operate on a small scale, but not on like a grander scale. That's very true. And to be fair, I think that's actually a pretty fair assessment for us. So until we can expand those borders a little bit more, those intelligence borders. How far does that a little bit? Yeah, more like the Borg in a lot of ways. It was also in that same documentary that they talked about. So. And that's probably true too, Frosty, because we're kind of in their intermediary zone right now. Like, there are so many things that can, I mean, we've seen it even in our own history. There are so many things that have killed off civilizations. You know, just eras, not epochs. Epochs is a much longer term, longer point in time. But like, just there are plenty of groups, you know, civilizations that have died off. So. Huh. I actually haven't heard that. I'd be very interested to hear more on that one. I will have to look that up. But it would make sense, given the fact that they say that the sun is roughly 4 to 4.5 billion years old. Even if the Earth was 2 billion, that would still give us plenty of time if we cropped up to really essentially grow into what we are now. I mean, we do have ancestors. There is essentially a family tree for us. So that would actually make a lot of sense. Kind of scary to think about that. We haven't learned much. And that's data site. So let's see what we can find here. Oh no. If he's going that way, I'm not going that way. I'm gonna get out. Yeah. No. Oh, well, okay, yeah. But what caused the Industrial Revolution? When we look at where the what things came about to cause those particular things. That's kind of, I think, what Underworld's getting at, because there's so much more to it than just, we discovered or we figured out a few things. Yeah, I mean, and I mean that might be a part of it. Right. Okay. Now we need to find ourselves a trade hub. Let's see. Let's actually head towards JITA. We'll have some time to get there and sell our stuff. So we got ourselves at least a decent payout here. So we'll go ahead and get it to JITA, get it sold off. And then if there's a little bit of time, we'll start maybe making, we'll see if we can find a little bit of PvP action. See what that looks like. Maybe at least start focusing on the concept of what a ship would look like for a new bro in PvP. At 7 million SP. We may not find anything tonight, but it'd still be interesting to go shoot at something other than an NPC. Well, I must be tired. Right, you've got, you do have plenty of people that tend to, right, you've got plenty of people that can actually get out there and innovate. The the biggest thing I think that really slows progression and advancements is going to be fear. You know, when you do have a group that has control over, you know, the common thought, if you will, I guess that's not really the right word. But it can really kind of bring things into like a tunnel vision, which can stifle any kind of advancements and progression unless it fits the status quo, which is the biggest problem, more so than rich people having all the power. It's really a question of how they're utilizing that power. You know, I mean, if you look in like Galileo is probably a perfect example because, you know, his advancements and what he did, they really didn't mesh well with the church at the time, and some other scholars and such like that, if I remember his story correctly. And he he got into a lot of trouble, so that was kind of a big deal back then. I believe Newton did too. Newton was another big one. I mean, of course, those are probably pretty obvious things that I would go for. You know, I've got a lot of admiration for those guys, everything they've done. Oh yeah, I mean, and that's true. Society as a whole did get a more enriched lifestyle as a result of the Industrial Revolution. I mean, you still had some problems, but oil industry guy invented the hydrogen fuel cell was killed. The danger, yeah. Underworld, you got a good point there. I remember hearing something about what was it back? I don't have the time frame, but I remember quite some time back, the whole reason hemp was outlawed, the reason why we're fighting some of those laws right now, is because it could actually be used in place of, what was it? Was it paper? I mean, it could be used for paper. I think it was tobacco. And the tobacco industry saw it as a threat, and at the time, they had the essentially they had the socio-political push to get it banned. And that's why we're fighting what we're fighting now. So. But yeah, like, I mean, if we were, if we were using hydrogen fuel cells to power our vehicles rather than oil, that, well, isn't it more costly to make a hydrogen fuel cell, though? I mean, you'd still need oil for that regardless. That's kind of the unfortunate part. You agreed at the top. Yeah. I would have to say I do have quite a bit of respect for Elon. Take water, iron, and copper. Oh, okay. Come on. I do at least follow Elon a little bit and what he does, you know, like in some of his stuff. I've actually watched YouTubes on some of his speeches and things, and he's got the right mindset. I think if nothing else, people can essentially, they can really learn from his thought process. Like even if you don't like the guy, he's got the same kind of thing and he's open about it, as a lot of those really wealthy people are. Yeah. Well, and I don't know. I mean, it's just like code. Like, I mean, it's like computer code. You can make a simple, you know, a simple program, and maybe you're not all that smart with coding, but you iterate it over time. You know, it's just like with anything, really. Realistically, literally anything. So. Right. Well. Yeah, the guy was killed for his invention, so. Well, that's true. The first car, I think, just didn't have the power to push itself up hill up to a certain like incline level. But back then, the horse and buggy was still pretty prevalent. So until the actual cars got stronger or, you know, more capable, that was it. Stepped out front of his house and got shot. Uh William Arbor Grove. Yeah, right. That's right, because the guy that Ford needed workers, and that's why our modern school system in the United States became the way it was. He also, I think, low key. I actually did watch something on that one. It seemed like low key he was looking to stifle any future competition, you know, before it actually got to the running stages. But he also needed people that could actually do the job, do the math, do the basic things. And what better way to do that than make sure people are educated and capable of actually doing the job, right? More Lancers. Huh. Okay, here we go. I did actually. I did wonder why the summer. Well, actually, I always assumed it was because it cost more to run the AC. And, you get off during the hottest days of the summer, that's an electric bill you don't have to worry about, usually. But they keep the AC running anyways, so I'm not entirely sure. Oh, yeah. Because of the growing season. Yeah. Planting and the growing and such like that. Because they also... No, we don't... The only time we actually have off in the winter is that 2 weeks. But I'm not sure if that was... Yeah. It is an archaic system. Our whole school system needs to be revamped. It's just like... I don't agree with our daylight savings time system either. I'm not a fan. In a more simplistic world, go ahead, grab my zero dock. We just don't need that. It hurts our internal clocks to keep jumping back and forth like we have been for so many years. But yeah, the school system needs a major overhaul. And dock. All right, we made it. Rail business, okay. I thought daylight savings time was because of, what was it, one of the world wars, one or two. I don't remember exactly which one. I want to say one. Okay. Forgot I had that there. So same thing as before. Be thinking of time zones. Time zones, I'm not sure entirely. I actually don't know how time zones came about. But I thought the daylight savings time was just so that way, the factories could keep working because it was easier to, and I think part of it was farmers too, from what I heard recently. So, is it war? Okay. Because I've also heard farmers too for daylight savings time because, that way farmers had more time to be out in the light. But I'm pretty sure when I originally heard it, it was about the manufacturing for the war. It was more expensive to burn candles, keep those lights on than it would be to just have the sun rise and set an hour later, or an hour earlier, or whatever, in order to get the job done. So I think that was part of it. Let's do immediate. Wow. Okay, so if I do immediate, it takes out like all that ISK. That's crazy bad. Not okay. We're gonna poke around with this a bit. Why won't you say other things, Nightbot? Yeah, resources during war. Okay, we're thinking of time zones. So as far as this goes, if you ever run into a situation where you have a lot of things and you probably don't want to chew through all of this stuff, you can look for your most valuable items. Just look for the estimated and then per unit. As a good rule of thumb, I think, like, here's a 6.9 estimated. ahead and click that. And then you just hold control and mouse over the next thing and find the next cool thing to go. Here's 1.7 total. There's 9,400 or 9,400,000. And then 1.8 million. This one's 548,000, so I'll probably pick that one too. And then we can just sell that. And that at least breaks it down into smaller chunks, probably a little bit more manageable. All right. Happy eating, Frosty. Market details, and we'll just kind of get started. In this case, you probably want to sort by quantity and then sort by that. So price 16,980 to 970. This one's, we're gonna do 936.7. Logic circuits. We'll do 525. PDS console 79. I'll do 179.4 on this one. And capacitor console. Let's do 559.6. It probably won't sell too quickly, but that's all right. That brings it a little bit closer. And those won't likely sell right away. Yep, and they're all in there. Right there. There we go. All right, and then we'll take these. So there's only about maybe 2 million. Okay, just do immediate. See what it gets us close to the 2 million mark. So, all right, take it easy, Underworld. Have a good night. We'll go ahead and sell this. Gets us close to that 2 million that shows in the inventory screen there. That gets us a little bit extra. All right, so while we're waiting on our other stuff to sell, we got ourselves about 17. We got another 17-ish coming, give or take a little bit. So from here, probably want to go ahead and start working towards our next venture. As a new bro, there are a list of things that you can do beyond what I've been doing in order to make it. Because someone obviously with the wormholes was a little bit better. See, there's one that even came right on through. You know, there are a few ventures you can do. Underworld the other day was sharing an app for your phone that allows you to look up, you know, things that you can haul. And if I were to look at that right now and get into something like that, obviously I can't show you, at least right now, because I'm on my phone with this. Things like you can make 1.1 million ISK by trading from Taidacha and Derelict to Ren's and Himitar. There's only 2. You know, and if you were to modify your settings a little bit more, you could probably find some better options, better opportunities. Another way that you can essentially make some ISK is doing like market trading. That's, in some ways, that can be really involved and really time consuming. In other ways, if you set it up, you can actually perform pretty well. And for that, I'll actually just show you real quick. Now, there are other streamers out there and YouTubes and such that actually perform a much better overview and more refined view than I will. But it's pretty much as simple as, like, even as an alpha, you train up certain skills. So, like, in this particular case, you'll as an alpha, you train up in the trade section. You get things like accounting, let's see here. Things like, I think it's trade. Like these ones with the gold border, those are Omega only. Distribution connections, I believe, are alpha related. Retail is related. Let me see if I can find contracting is Omega. Broker relations, maybe. Where aren't you going? There we go. Okay, so that's another one that you could train as an alpha. And there's a certain level up to that you'd want to train on some of these skills in order to get into it. And essentially, you're just, I wouldn't say dumping your skill points, but you're pushing your skill points up to that point. And I believe you only get about 11 slots, so you don't get a whole lot. And generally, you want to keep those alphas in like the major trade hubs. So probably places like JITA or Amar or Heck. And then from there, it's about finding. Well, first you have to have a little bit of capital to spend. Generally, you want to start with about 10 million, which isn't hard to get, since you'd be doing the career agents until you just got them. And then from there, you go onto sites like there we go. Adam and Eve. And Adam and Eve has the margin finder. And this margin finder lets you see things like the buy price, the sell price, the spread. So like how much profit you can expect to make. Your best bet's to drill down from this though, because if you just take directly from the top, you're gonna be competing with everybody else. Like, hands down, everybody else. So like, let's do market group. An easy one is abyssal filaments. Let's see if I can. There we go. So we'll do type group, so we can try to get the whole thing. There we go. And then you just do enter. It's already set to JITA. And then what you would do is you would take your spread percentage and you make sure that that's set up. So like here, you can see that the Raging Dark filament is at 103%. which essentially means that it's, for all intents and purposes, going to be a nice tidy profit should those sell. Your buy price, there's your sell price, so you would have to I believe that's what you sell them at, or that's what you buy them at, and then you can turn around and sell them for a profit at that. Assuming that they sell, you make ISK. So in this particular case, if we were to take, and the other thing to make a note of is that if you're on an alpha account, you don't want to try to pick something with a spread of 12 or 16%. You want to try to stay a little bit higher in the 30 to 50. But you also have to be careful on your trades, and you also have to find good items. So like what we were just selling right there, our exploration loot, is actually pretty decent. Those are, let's see, what is that? What were they called? They're salvage. So like we would do salvaged materials and then enter. So here's kind of another overview, right? Like microcircuits, probably be decent to go for. As an option, you can go to things like, I'll just open up the region map so I can see. I wouldn't do anything like materials, like raw materials. Those are very tight. Kind of like they're really tightly aligned, and you have to be careful when you're doing anything like that, because it's a pretty hard thing to kind of buy sell. But like the trade goods are always good. Like you could do insignias. So Empire insignia drops would be okay. So like here you've got some decent options. Security tags would be another one. Oh, maybe not. Well, which one is it? Criminal tags. I knew I'd get it right sometime. No? Huh. My filaments have always been decent in the past. You can try to do like weapons too, things like that. So like, let's say you want to do laser, right? It's mining laser. Let's see here. We'll do pulse. Actually, it's a type group, so we might need to do weapon. Yeah, energy weapons. So like here, we'll do energy weapons. And we could even do this even broader by just going into the category, right? And do module, right? Mod. So at this point, we can look at all the modules and we can see what's doing what. Here's a drone mining augmenter 2. Its spread is super high. So if we were to buy this, or we would set our buy price and we actually got one somehow, we could try to turn around and sell it and make a bit of a profit on that. But chances are you're probably going to be looking at things like steel plates, scout artillery, and this is stuff you can try, but it probably doesn't have a lot of movement. As you can kind of see from their average trades and things like that. So that kind of gives you like a top level view, and Atom for Eve is really good for finding this if you want to play the market. I did dabble in this a little bit, but I'm not that experienced. But it's a great way to increase your profit over the course of like a month or so if you just don't have a lot of time to play and just maybe want to spend 30 minutes dabbling in your market orders. In a lot of ways, it can also be considered as like stock market gaming, right? Gaming edition, because essentially that's what you're doing. You're buying things, you're selling things. Buy low, sell high, that kind of thing. So it's good. You can get started. You can play around with it. And like I said, there are streamers out there that are very, very good. They offer some pretty good support, help, third-party tools even. I think I used Oz's stuff when I tried it. He's really good at that. So like if you're looking for an advanced, really good top-level view, he's probably your guy to go to in that particular regard. But as far as like what we're concerned with, we got a few, we had a few orders that sold right away, because that's the good thing about JITA. JITA just is the place to sell stuff at. So right now we've got 14 million left in our sell orders. Our logic circuits sold, and that's actually the only thing that sold apparently. At least that I can tell. Yeah, looks like it. So from here, we kind of have to pick what do we want to do next. Since we've made a little bit of ISK at this point, you probably want to say, get out there and have some fun. The best way to have some fun in EVE Online, just grab a ship and try to blow something up or someone up. Generally speaking, the solo roaming thing isn't super advised. Solo roaming can have a lot of shortcomings, a lot of pitfalls. It's usually better to do a small gang, which is known as group roaming, with a smaller group. So like it's not super big fleet, tight knit type of thing. It's lower level, 3 to 5, maybe even 7 or 8 people roaming around together, finding something to do. Finding some trouble to get into. So, like if we were to go, we'll go ahead and just for funsies, we'll stick with, like here's Soldier of Fortune Aramar. And this is probably a decent general basis what you would expect from a ship if you're just wanting to take something out and go fight some stuff. You've got your modulated energy beams. You've got a micro warp, a warp scram to keep your target from warping away, a micro warp drive so you can kind of get under it or get to it as quick as possible. This is your everyday bread and butter tackle ship essentially for Amar. Armor pumps to buff up its EHP. Now I'm not sure why they would have put a restrained nanofiber on this thing along with the plate. That's a little strange to me. Your damage control 1 is an interesting little thing because as it shows right on its tooltip, you get more defense from, or more resistance from the hull than you do anywhere else. So actually having that nanofiber in there actually hurts the ship. As you can see, its defense its EHP goes up a little bit when I disable it. If you're looking for something that's going to provide you more inertia and more align time, which is most likely what they were looking at, it might have been better to go with an eye stab, but I believe the requirements, the requirements are 1 and 1, whereas with an eye stab 1, oh, it's also the same. So I thought it was higher. Just do that, and then yeah, you even still get like the whole thing. It turns out to be a little bit better with no real drawbacks. Your compact multi-spectrum is good. Offers you more, more overall EHP. Welcome back, Frosty. Again, the 400 millimeter crystalline carbonate is all right. I would have gone with tungsten. I don't know why they went. Well, the crystalline might literally be because of fitting, because they're thinking of the newest players. But if we take it and we put it into a rolled tungsten, which is a slightly higher meta level, we get a little bit more EHP in comparison to the crystalline carbide. Oh, I guess we don't. So what do we get? $67. So I guess the only thing you would possibly get. No? I'm really not sure. There'd be no reason to change it out then. Why would they do that? Let's remove it and we'll see. Yeah, CPU usage is still higher. Armor hit points the same. Tech level's the same. Other than capacity. The only thing that makes sense is the mass edition would be the only real changes, which is why they went with the crystalline carbide one. That's the only thing I could think of, which does make sense, but it didn't seem to change it. So I don't know. And then there's, excuse me, the extruded compact heatsink. This one's kind of interesting because its requirements are pretty low, and if you were trying to go with a heatsink 2, which is probably more recommended, you have to have weapon upgrades to 4 and gunner rated 2 before you can utilize something like that. So the extruded compact's actually a pretty good option. Damage control 1, I think you could have gone with the DCU 2, or yeah, DCU 2. No, I guess not. You have to have call upgrades at 4, but that kind of still bleeds into the whole thing with the Magic 14 that I was talking about, like just 2 streams ago. The Magic 14 opens up doors for a better fitting experience. So like if we were to take this, since I do have most of the Magic 14 trained as, essentially alpha Nubro level, even with my current Omega status, I could take this and it's a solid ship already, and I can add a little bit more power to it. And you could have even, like, they could have put an IFFA on there, but an IFFA compact, if you put that on there, it jacks up the price to 8 million ISK. So, I mean, it gives you a lot for very, very little EHP, additional EHP. But, like, yeah, there's that. And I get more EHP from that. And then same thing with this. And honestly, I believe I can afford to do the steel plate 2s. Yep, because I have the, not only do I have the skills for it, but I also have the ability to fit it. So I'm not over. Same with the multi-spectrum. And just now I'm getting over. And something like that, once you hit to this, you're obviously taking on some mass. But once you've got that, maybe drop the Trimark 1 in this instance, and it'll drop you down. It'll drop your EHP down a little bit, and then pull in. Where is it? It's not that. Thought it was in engineering. But auxiliary capacitor, command processor. Yeah, that should have been it. Oh, no, that's command burst. Processor overclocking is what I'm looking for. So right there. And that gets you to an even 9. Well, but we just messed up the Trimark thing. Well, let's just put a pump 2 on there. Just like that. And well, that doubles that, and it doesn't add to the EHP at all. So there you go. In that particular case, yeah, we did increase the cost of this by about 4 million, but the trade-off is kind of worth it. Another thing too you want to be aware of is the type of energy beam that you're using. You know, are you using, first of all, are you wanting to stay at a distance? You know, what's your scram range, right? So look at your multi-frequency, which is your essentially when you're getting up close and personal, you're punching, right? You're not going very far. Your fall off is a little bit over 4 kilometers or 4,000 meters. Your optimal range is about 3,000 meters, so you're not going far away. So these are other things to consider too. The Gatling modal's not bad. Not really what I would do. I personally would do like modulated energy beam, but that tends to be more expensive. People tend to go for that almost immediately. And also, as an aside, the quad lift is a good option. Let's go with, instead of the scoped, that jumped up. Instituted compact as well, because it doesn't actually matter too much. Like, your range is still going to be pretty decent, no matter what you do. But that's kind of how that goes. So, you know, we've essentially taken this ship and we've beefed it up just a little bit. Just because I'm curious. Let's see here. Yeah, see, that's at 9 million. And your fall off is already right there. Now, if and when you get to like the Tech 2, which I'm already there, you could swap them out for some Tech 2 lasers. Your only problem is that they're kind of pricey. At 9.7. So that's not, again, not too bad. But having the pulse laser 2 means you can use some conflag, and you can really bring in some DPS. Like, your DPS is going to be really, really good. Your fall off and optimal also aren't too much different in this case. And to offset something like that, you could even look into let's see here. And you could go full on polarized. That would be fun. Like the dual light pulse lasers, which are designed to... Oh, wait. These are... No, these are pulses. Okay, never mind. Because you've got 3 options, technically, if you're doing Tech 2. You've got the dual light pulse, the Gatling pulse, and the small focused pulse. Small focused pulse gives you more damage, but slower rate of fire. Dual light gives you higher rate of fire, but less damage. And Gatling, I think, is your mix of the two. Oops. Oops, that's also the wrong thing. Okay. And like here's chart tracking, as you can see right here. Your Gatling is the highest one, with your focus one being the lowest. Your damage modifier is highest, however, on the focused. Lowest on the Gatling. So it's really just dependent upon what you're after. Accuracy fall off. Yep, so like the Gatling's accuracy fall off is at 1000. The others tend to change that up a little bit more. That's kind of how that goes. This isn't a too terribly bad setup. The Imperial multi-frequency and the Imperial Navy radio are also pretty good picks. Radio getting you out a little bit farther so you can start firing sooner. And then ammo with lasers has the added benefit of not having a cooldown, not having to wait to load and unload. They're just boom, boom, done, ready to go. Boom, boom, ready to go. Boom, boom. You know, that kind of thing. So with that in mind, I'll probably go ahead and update this just slightly. Just that one. And I'll probably go ahead and add in 4 Scorch. And 4, 8, 12. So like that's where we're at. We're at 10.1. We've got about 25. Let's go ahead and open up multi-buy, see what that looks like as far as what JITA prices are for these things. I'm sorry, it's definitely getting late for me. I can feel it. Okay, so see, it's even still better than it was, 9.8 as opposed to 10.1. So we're already saving a little bit of ISK in this case. So let's just buy it. And then we'll fit the ship. And we'll rename it later. It's not really a huge deal that it's not renamed. So. Okay. There it is. Yeah, lost there for a second. So yeah, there's our Punisher. Now, if you have skins. Now is the time to apply the skin. Well, that's cool. If you don't have skins, then obviously you don't have skins. And that's gonna be like our PvP ship for next time. What we'll do is we'll try to head out, and this will be Monday coming up. So we're gonna head out into, I think we'll just try to go to Lowsec and see what we can find from there, because Lowsec's gonna be our easiest shot at finding something. If we try to do it in a wormhole, it's not gonna do us, like, we don't have a combat capable ship for a wormhole. Well, we do, but we can't scan and do at the same time. It's just not really possible in this current particular setup. But at the very least, from here, we'll go ahead and part our separate ways. With my reactor cores fully recharged and out of their recharge lock, I'm going to be going back into warp. I'm going to go back to activating my warp drive and moving on to our next destination. So until then, I will see you in the verse.